Hello everyone, Dara here. I'm joined once again by Jake and Mattie for the second episode of the JDM F1 Weekend Roundup podcast. Lads, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. How are you, Mattie?
I'm good now. Good. What a race. What an
What a
absolute race.
It was mixed up anyways. The race was mixed up.
Yeah, we need more races like this. The unpredictability was really, really good.
It was, and I suppose
Yeah.
the main story coming out of Istanbul today was Lewis Hamilton, 7-time champion of the world.
Tied with Schumacher.
What an absolute achievement. We just have to say, fair play to him. He works so hard. He puts all of his effort into Formula 1 and he just deserves 100% of it.
Yeah, he does. He deserves every bit of it. And I suppose his first title back in 2008.
Yep.
All the way up to 2020. So he's been in the sport now 3 decades actually. His championships have been. It is just an incredible achievement for Lewis and to everyone at Mercedes for actually 7 consecutive championships. Of course, 6 with Lewis and 1 with Nico Rosberg. So the other main story is Checo Perez and Sebastian Vettel on the podium. What are your thoughts on that, lads?
What an absolute achievement from
Very
Perez.
surprising.
It was, and I thought it would be Stroll, Perez and Vettel podium until, of course, Stroll pitted. But should he have pitted or should he have stayed out, Matt?
Well, I heard Crofty talking about this after a race, saying Racing Point had set up Lance Stroll's car to get the best tyre management, which was basically warm the tyres up as much as he can. But in the later stages of the race, and of course, the only way you can cool down tyres realistically with that kind of setup is with rain. But of course, we didn't see any rain, so that strategy kind of screwed him over, and Perez was just catching him until he had to pit because his tyres were so warm, you know.
Yeah, Jake, what do you think of that? Should he have pit? In your opinion, should he have pit or should he have stayed out?
I think so, because by the looks of it, he was going to stay ahead. He wasn't going to stay ahead for much longer if he hadn't pitted. Either way, he was going to lose that position, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go for slicks, honestly. I believe that was a crossover point, and, I didn't really have much to lose, and, if you want to win races, you need to try an alternative strategy.
Yes.
I think the reason they didn't pit for slicks, Matt, was there was rain scheduled for the last lap of the race, and I think they had that in the back of their mind. If they pit for slicks, well then they're going to be skating for the last lap, possibly not finishing the race. I think that's why that was Racing Point's decision there. Charles Leclerc calls himself effing stupid, an explosive post-race radio. Because he locked up on the last corner and let his teammate Sebastian Vettel past for a P3. Vettel back on the podium for the first time since, when was it, Matt?
I believe it is Mexico 2019.
I think Leclerc is very critical of himself.
Critical of himself. Yeah, he's very critical.
Yeah, and he's very critical of himself. Just look back to Baku last year when the "I am stupid" meme, when he said "I'm stupid" when he crashed at the castle section. Germany last year, he was very critical of himself when he spun off. The Syrian Grand Prix this year, it was his fault, but I mean, he was racing. He shouldn't have gone for the gap against his teammate, but he was racing at the end of the day, and he put all the blame on himself. And again today, put all the blame on himself. Very critical, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
another talking point was Bottas auditioning to be a ballet dancer. Jake, do you want to lead off with that?
It's very interesting. You know, they
You want to
do
see
keep
that much
flipping
spinning on
but I
quickly?
don't think he'd be the best. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be the best ballerina, no.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
considering he
6
didn't
times.
full spin, you know?
Yeah, 6 times he spun Mal.
Another talking point was the crane incident at the start of Q2. So, on the television screens, I presume everyone was on the Lando Norris on board on his outlap. And just to his front right, sorry, you could see a crane recovering Roman Grosjean's car. Grosjean
Yep.
brought out the red flag. FIA race director Michael Massey has responded to why this was ever allowed to happen by putting the blame on the clerk of the course. And many have questioned how this event like this could ever happen again, especially after the tragic death of Jules Bianchi in 2014. Matty, what are your views on this? Should it have happened? Should they have kept the cars in the pit lane until Roman Grosjean's car was recovered? Or
I
should
think
they
it was just a lapse in safety, all in all. You know, there shouldn't. I think there's a rule saying that cars shouldn't actually be able to go out if there is even marshals on the track. I don't know the whole ins and outs of that, but yeah, definitely not if there's a machine on the track. Definitely not.
Jake,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think they should have been kept in the pits. Surely somebody could have stepped in on that. A higher official could have stepped in on that, you know?
Yeah, Marcus Ericsson at Ericsson Marcus on Twitter tweeted saying, "Please F1, how on earth can you start the session with the safety truck still on the track? Have we not learned from the past? I can't believe it. Hashtag F1." Do you agree with him?
Yes.
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, I do too, especially after what happened with Jules Bianchi in 2014. And just some comments on this. Massey has to go. He's made a lot of poor decisions this year. Listening to his interview on Beyond the Grid, he was very inexperienced when he came in the role after Charlie Whiting died last year. And it's showing. Not sure what the alternative is, but the future is not him. Who do you think should go in place?
Well, personally, I believe that somebody like a former driver such as Felipe Massa, you know, he handled the karting incident great, and he knows a lot of safety about Formula One. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know the F1 hierarchy, the way they pick their leaders is very confusing.
Matty, just so our listeners know, what was the karting incident?
A karting incident. The World Karting Championships finals, yeah. I think he was run off the road by second place where he was leading the race, and well, anyway, his bumper came off, and when you crash, you probably all know this if you're listening to this. You should walk off the track and avoid all the other drivers, but sadly, he didn't do that. He went back onto the track and chucked his bumper. Yes, his bumper at the oncoming driver, and then
It was
when
Luca
that
Corberry.
oh yeah, Luca Corberry, yep. And then when the second place driver came in to a pit, he started starting a fight with him. So yeah, that's a karting incident for you. Yeah.
He's
And
the
anyway,
FI.
another talking point was the track.
Yeah, Max Verstappen hopes F1 never has the slippy Istanbul track issue again.
Yeah.
Predictions were of an easy flat turn 8. Do you know, like turn 8 with the
Yeah.
I think it's
Flat
the
Yeah.
quadruple apex, isn't it? People saying it was going to be
Yep.
flat out. Also, it was Alfa Romeo Sauber's 500th Grand Prix, a huge milestone for them. Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi didn't finish as strongly as they should. Giovinazzi retired, and Kimi 15th position. What do you think of the track? Should the track have been? I heard that it was washed down on Thursday night. Should they have washed it down, or should they have just left it?
I think they should have
Should've
just
just
left
left
it. But I have to say, freshly laid asphalt, it did add a lot of drama to it, and it was very, very good racing. I have to say, them spinning
was.
out. I know
Yeah.
there was probably a few problems with safety, but overall, it was a brilliant race.
It was. And moving on to our final point of this podcast, should F1 return to Istanbul?
Definitely, we need a lot more tracks like Istanbul on the calendar, such as Josh Ravel and Sim Dane. They made a collaboration explaining why Kyle Army, the South African track, should get back to F1, which is, we need a lot more tracks than, and Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
incident where, where F1 chose to race in Saudi Arabia. Well, they had, I won't go too much into it, but their We Racers won, and Saudi Arabia choice didn't really mix well with the fans.
No, it didn't. Jake, what are your opinions on F1 returning to Istanbul? Should they or should they not?
I don't know. I don't think it's that. I don't think there's anything really special about the track.
Rental cars, till they rubbed it down. Roman Grosjean was it Grosjean that said that all the drivers should bring their rental cars around the track on Friday night. It did happen, but it wasn't the drivers' rental cars.
Yeah. I think they actually let them in off late Friday night to try and desperately increase grip on the surface. But I don't think that done much.
No.
No, it didn't. No. So I think that's it, lads. Thank you, everyone, for listening. It's been a short
Thank
podcast
you.
this week. I've been your host, Dara. These have been my co-hosts, Jake and Mattie. Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you for listening.